Transmitter device activated. Coordinates set for Earth 2.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Earth 2 podcast, your weekly exploration of the DC Comics multiverse and the legacy of their Golden Age characters through the Silver and the Bronze Ages of comics. I'm Peter Watson.
Hey, bloomin' is, and I'm David Steele. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. We're decided to read another issue of Wonder Woman this week. Probably told you that last week. Today, we're reading issue 230, cover dated April, but published on the 27th of January, 1977. Peter's going to tell us about the cover.
We have, in the top left corner, it's a blue DC bullet. Though she doesn't want to, the Cheetah must kill Wonder Woman. 30 cents, number 230, April, and instruction codes 30725, approved, of course, by the Comics Code Authority. Now, take a drink, folks, because peeking from behind a building and some skyscrapers, we can see a massive full moon.
Oh, heck. No half. I didn't even notice that. Wow. I'm going to take a drink.
It's almost like it's popping its head around the corner to see this amazing scene, because down an alleyway, in front of a poster that says, Wonder Woman says, buy US war bonds, with a picture of Wonder Woman on it, there is a battle commencing between Wonder Woman, who's holding her glowing lasso in her hand, and dodging a sharp blow coming from the form of the Cheetah, who looks as if she's trying to claw Wonder Woman's eyes out. In fact, actually, she's torn the poster.
Gasp.
The US war bonds poster. She's got some of that in her claws, with her big giant, long, red, talon-like nails.
Gosh.
And of course, her cheetah print costume with a big tail and the cute little ears at the top.
I love her already, listeners. I love her already. Anyway. Pete, I'm going to ask you that question I often ask at this point. Can you remember the first story that you read featuring, or the first time you encountered the cheetah?
The first one I saw was a different cheetah. It was the Debbie Domain, I think her name was, cheetah, the one that appeared in the Justice League of America Secret Society of Supervillains crossover in issue 195.
I see.
As far as this version goes, I think the first time I saw her was in that DC special issue that reprinted the unpublished Golden Age story that she was in.
Right. Listeners, we haven't forgotten that there are some unpublished Golden Age stories. We probably meant to do them closer to when they were published, but we kind of forgot. So we're not sure. We might not do them, or we might do them all at once over a couple of portmanteaus at the most random moment ever to just sort of distract and annoy you. Maybe actually immediately after issue 7 of Crisis.
Just to break it up a bit.
That would interrupt the proceedings, wouldn't it? Don't know, we'll see.
Yes, between 7 and 8, yes, that's the perfect time.
Obvious place. The detail that I like on this cover, aside from the moon, now that you pointed it out, is that there's a little, very small bottle of what looks like some Buckfast tonic wine that's lying on the floor of the alleyway just in front of the two fighting ladies.
Yes.
I find that very, very amusing. It may not, of course, be Buckfast, but if this scene was set in Glasgow, it probably would be.
It certainly would be.
Yes. I can't remember when I first encountered the cheetah, by the way. I've been thinking about it all day, and I'm like, I don't know.
I bet you it was the same Secret Society story.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I didn't start regularly reading DC as early as you did. But it's entirely possible that it may have been that when I started collecting the JLA JSA stories in earnest. It's entirely possible, but I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that's the story, though, where I first encountered the Signalman.
How exciting.
Stay tuned to my forthcoming solo Signalman podcast. Right, jumping into the story. Guess what? There's a caption.
The time is 1943. The place is wartime America, the only nation that could put an end to Hitler's terror.
Rubbish. Rubbish. We all know that. Rubbish.
I refer you to a reaction from last week. Into the world that men drove mad with war, she came. Beautiful as Aphrodite, wise as Athena, stronger than Heracles, and swifter than Hermes, to save mankind from itself. Into a world where women were mere women, came Wonder Woman. And womanhood would never be the same again.
Ah, it would never be the same. There you go, Steve. There was another nod there. Listeners, being very exclusive when I say that, there's a song called Guardian Angel by a German singer called Nino D'Angelo. Go and look it up, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Pete, I'm going to suggest that, see if this intro caption is in any of the other issues going forward. Let's not read it. It's a bit contentious, isn't it, listeners? So what we have going on here We appear to be at sea, or at the very least at water. Wonder Woman seems to be floating above the surface of the water, and we can see some passengers on a boat behind in the background. We can see a lifebelt and stuff. Seemingly leaping off the boat towards Wonder Woman is the feline form of the cheetah. The cheetah is yelling.
Now you die, Wonder Woman, and so does Diana Prince.
And as she says this, there's a little burst of pink energy, and she seems to fire one of her claws at Wonder Woman, but Wonder Woman deflects it with her bracelet and a fantastic
Zing!
sound effect. The captioning resumes.
You're cordially invited to witness the death of Wonder Woman at the hands, or more specifically, the claws of the cheetah.
And we get the credits.
Script Martin Pascoe, art Jose Delbo and Vinnie Coletta, colours Jerry Serp.
Excellent. Quite a wordy one this week, listeners, so bear with us. Over the page, there's a nice establishing shot of some big fancy do, lots of people in fancy clothes sat behind tables, some kind of gala dinner type situation, and the captioning walks us through it.
The rustling of elegant evening gowns, the clinking of exquisite tableware, the echoes of earnest conversation wafted toward the vaulted ceiling. These are the sounds of a gala dinner at the White House this winter eve in 1942. But it is less a dinner than a gesture of appreciation to the Junior League Committee for War Work. The hosts are President and Mrs. Roosevelt, and their guests are the high and the mighty, a glittering array of prominent social and political figures.
And there's a shot of an attractive blonde lady with very dark eyebrows and a low-cut orange dress, and she is captioned.
Foremost among them are the most glamorous debutante in Chevy Chase, heiress Priscilla Rich.
And then over a shot of a stout, older man with a moustache and swept-back white hair and a monocle, there's another caption.
Maxwell Stanhope, political columnist for the Washington Sentinel and a vehement isolationist.
And then we see two people who we know very well. Well, fairly well.
War hero Major Steve Trevor and his War Department Secretary, Yeoman Diana Prince.
Yeoman Diana Prince! So yes, Steve in full military uniform and Diana Prince in her uniform, which obviously echoes very closely the look as favoured by Linda Carter in Series 1 of the New Adventures of the new original Wonder Woman, whatever it was called. But anyway, they're in mid-conversation. Diana is saying, "But I feel so out of place here, Steve."
Relax, Prince. You're my date.
I know, but wouldn't you really rather be with Wonder Woman?
Yeah, but she turned me down. She said she wouldn't want to upstage the president at an important function. Some girl at WW, huh?
Oh, I suppose so. And we can see that Diana and Steve are sat very close to FDR and Mrs. Roosevelt. Steve continues.
She's almost as great an American as the president. I mean, who else but FDR could invite Maxwell Stanhope to dinner after all those rotten things that Crumb's written about him?
Diana gets to her feet, saying, "Excuse me a moment, Major, but do continue the conversation without me, which is exactly what you've been doing all along." Oh, Frosty. She walks off.
No sooner has Diana left the state dining room than it happens. The guests realize with horror that among them is a would-be assassin.
Yes, Maxwell Stanhope has got to his feet and he's pulling a dagger out of his cane, the cane which he was leaning his weight on in the first panel where we saw him. He waves the cane around and shouts, "Roosevelt, you've sullied your hands with the blood of innocent Americans for the last time."
Even before the Secret Service can act, the madman has drawn a razor-sharp stiletto from his hollow cane.
Yep, he has. I preempted that. Apologies. He moves forward with the blade saying, "Death to the warmonger president!" And there is a scream. And someone yells,
"My God, Stanhope's got a weapon!"
In the process of leaving the room, Diana Prince hears the kerfuffle and thinks, "Great hero, sounds like something dreadful's happening out there."
Instantly, Diana darts into the powder room as Wonder Woman passes her coming out of the room.
Yes, there's a wonderful...
Ree!
And under this amazing sound effect, we see Diana Prince fade out and Wonder Woman fade in, spinning her lasso. The captions continue.
But this is merely an optical illusion, you see, because Diana Prince is Wonder Woman.
As we know, very effective panel. Hopefully there'll be room for it on the socials. So, Stanhope has moved forward. He's grabbed FDR by the lapel of his jacket. I'm really annoyed that no one's got in the way or tried to pull him off. There is a weird sound.
Phew!
And a gentleman standing next to the president says,
That whistling sound, it's...
and he breaks off because we see Wonder Woman's lasso flying into view and lassoing, there's no other word for it, Stanhope's blade and pulling it out of his hand. As Wonder Woman arrives, she concludes what the stout gentleman next to the president was saying when she says, the expression you're groping for, gentlemen, is Wonder Woman. Stanhope looks around, the blade has vanished from his hand, he yells, my sword, cheese! Wonder Woman continues, taking it away from you before you hurt yourself with it, Mr. Stanhope. I trust you don't mind. Listeners, Peter and I aren't too sure if what we thought was a scream in panel 3 and the "Reow" sound effect that we see running over panels 4 and 5 is Wonder Woman's lasso or if it's something else.
Yes.
Right, so Wonder Woman has lassoed the blade out of Stanhope's hand. Top of the next page, he makes a grab for Wonder Woman, saying, supercilious female, you've spoiled everything. Now you'll discover the consequences of opposing Maxwell Stanhope. And he moves forward towards Wonder Woman. We can see that the man behind has pulled a pistol. Wonder Woman, she's not fussed, she says, opposing you? I don't think so. I make a practice of never arguing with lunatics.
With that, battle is joined, but at the moment it is a distraught Priscilla Rich to whom our attention must turn, as inexplicably she flees the dining room.
Yes, the blonde lady we saw a couple of pages ago is leaving the dining room. She has her hands up to her forehead. She looks very pained as she thinks,
My head, it's splitting. I don't know why, but suddenly I feel as if my mind is coming apart. I've got to get out of here. Must go somewhere where I can be alone.
And as she leaves, we see that Wonder Woman is on her back, basically sort of juggling Stanhope with her boots. It's quite funny. She sort of like kicked him in the stomach, or maybe she's twirled him around. That's what it looks like anyway. Secret Service men look on as the captioning, referring back to Priscilla, continues.
Yes, alone in the powder room, where she slumps before a makeup mirror, her brain buffeted by a maelstrom of bizarre sensations tearing her in two.
Yes, and it must be said, Priscilla looks very 1970s. She doesn't look terribly 1940s at all. And we see her in front of a mirror, and her reflection isn't of herself, it's of a woman looking very evil, wearing a close-fitting cheetah-patterned catsuit, headpiece, mask, and we can see that there are very sharp sort of talons sort of arranged around the wrist. But Priscilla isn't aware of this just yet. She's freaking out and she's saying,
Why do I feel so angry, so confused? It's awful.
And the reflection that I've just badly described says,
Yes, of course it is, you poor thing. Look at me.
The captioning comes back.
If indeed Priscilla is alone here, why does the tiny room echo with the sound of two distinctly different voices?
Priscilla looks up, sees the reflection and says,
You again? No, it can't be. Not after I'd... After you'd what, dear? Banished me? Don't be absurd, love. You can't destroy me. The cheetah is part of you. I'm the suppressed part of Priscilla Rich that must be free. The aggressor. The predator. Soon my personality will take over our body to kill Wonder Woman.
oh my gosh, and the reflection laughs evilly. And poor Priscilla smashes her fist on the mirror, shattering it, saying,
No, I won't let you.
There's a very satisfying
Smash!
sound effect, and then the captioning kicks back in.
The two voices rise in argument. Two voices belonging to the same person. Priscilla protests, but it is too late. Wonder Woman's arrival on the scene has sealed her fate.
Yes, and we cut back to Wonder Woman's tussle with Stanhope. There's a fantastic kapow sound effect as she punches him and sends him flying into a table, sending a candelabra and some cutlery and some plates and glasses flying through the air. Wonder Woman is then seen shaking hands with the President, who is saying,
I thank you, Wonder Woman. And what's more, a grateful nation thanks you.
It was an honour, Mr. President. And then we see, with a very attractive blouson jacket over her orange dress, that Priscilla Rich is leaving. Now, there's a bit of captioning over the last few panels we've just covered, so Pete will give us that now.
And even as the battle in the dining hall ends, even as the would-be assassin is led away...
Yes, we see Stanhope being led off by a couple of men in suits.
Priscilla Rich, debutante, heiress, and victim of split personality, is hastily departing the White House.
Yes, she's approaching a car where there's a chauffeur, a driver waiting for her, and he says, Yes, missy? And she says in a very interestingly lettered speech bubble,
Home! But look closely, for it is not in fact Priscilla Rich who steps into the limousine, but rather the Cheetah.
And there's been a bit of a narrative leap, because instead of seeing the back of the car, we see what appears to be Priscilla's bedroom, with the Cheetah stretched out in the full Cheetah uniform, not the nice orange dress, and the Cheetah is saying,
Priscilla is a fool. She sought to banish me by fleeing Washington for a time, so that she needn't encounter Wonder Woman, whose presence triggers my emergence. But coming to that dinner was her last mistake. Now I am free once more to settle my old score with the Amazon. And my new weapon, the Cheetah Claws, will help me kill her.
Yes, and we see her fiddling with the claws that are wrapped around her wrist that I described a few pages ago. There is a slow dissolve.
Sunday afternoon in Old Georgetown. Tourists cram the sightseeing boat that lazily cruises the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal.
We see the boat passing under a bridge, and from the boat a voice can be heard saying, "This overpass is the last of its kind in existence." We can see that someone is standing on the bridge looking down at the boat.
Pity those poor tourists. They are blissfully unaware of what misfortune is about to descend on them. Literally.
Yes, and we see the figure on the bridge removing their overcoat and their big hat, and it is the Cheetah who leaps from the bridge down onto the boat, carrying what looks like a lunch pail beside her. There's an interesting rip sound effect as she sort of tears through the canopy of the top of the boat, and a man on the boat looks up at her and cries, "Good Lord, a woman in a leopard suit!" And she strikes him with her claws and says,
No, not a leopard, big boy, a cheetah.
Yes, there's a devastating
Shrek.
sound effect as she does that. The poor man can only yell, "Ah!" And then a man in a brown suit observes, "Mother of mercy, she slashed the tour guide's throat." Oh my goodness, that's a bit Certificate 15 for the Earth 2 podcast, isn't it? We see that the Cheetah has grabbed the tour guide's loudhailer and is now addressing everyone on the vessel as she says,
Indeed, and you'd better cooperate, darlings, unless you'd like to be scratched up a bit too. I want every valuable you've got in this bag now.
And by astonishing coincidence, folks, Wonder Woman just happens to be flying past at this point and can obviously hear the Cheetah through the loudhailer, for she thinks, "What's this? Sounds like a robbery. But what kind of criminal would broadcast a crime in broad daylight? A stupid one, that's what kind." And she puts the invisible jet into park and drops down towards the tourist boat thinking, "Yet, if that voice belongs to who I think it does, stupid she's not. So I'm probably leaping into a trap, but that can't be helped." And arriving on the boat, she collides with the Cheetah with a spectacular
Clud.
Yes, KLUD, listeners, fantastic. The passengers can only look on as Wonder Woman arrives, making the Cheetah drop her bag. Wonder Woman is saying, "The Cheetah, just as I thought. But I must say I'm surprised at you. Using that megaphone wasn't very bright."
Sure it was, honey. In fact, it was deliberate. It was a perfect way to attract your attention in order to give you this. Suddenly, the Cheetah touches a tiny stud on her bizarre bracelet to unleash a volley of claw-shaped darts.
Yes, brilliant inset panel there of the Cheetah activating the little device that I've been talking about, and the darts fly towards Wonder Woman, obviously, who, with a fantastic display of
Zing, zing, zing.
deflects the darts, saying, "You lured me here? Just to show off your latest toy? Sorry, honey, but I'm not impressed." Over the page, we've arrived at the splash panel, as the Cheetah leaps forward, knocking Wonder Woman into the water off of the boat, saying,
I see you've lost none of your skill or agility since the last time we met, dear. But I'm ready for you this time. I found a delicious scheme for revenge.
Yes, there's a brilliant
Whack!
sound effect as Wonder Woman goes through the side of the boat into the water. Cheetah has wrapped her tail around a post on the boat to stop her from falling in. And hanging off the side of the boat, she says to Wonder Woman,
Now I've got you where I want you, love. The next time we meet, I'll know your secret identity. And it'll be the last time we meet. Again, the feral feline fires her weapon, and again, the amazing Amazon prepares to defend herself. But...
Yes, as the darts fly towards Wonder Woman, she brings up her bracelets, but she's obviously immersed, and she thinks, "Suffering Sappho! The water, slowing my reflexes."
The Amazon princess cannot move fast enough, enabling one of the claw-like projectiles to find its mark.
Oh dear, there's a horrible
Chock!
sound effect as the dart bounces off Wonder Woman's forehead. Diana can only exclaim, "Ah!" and she falls back into the water. The boat drifts on under the bridge, as the captions say.
And as the cheetah melts into the throng of horrified spectators crowding the sightseeing boat, Wonder Woman surrenders to unconsciousness, as yet unaware of just how great a victory her enemy has won.
Gosh, there's a slow dissolve.
That night...
Yes, we're with the cheetah. She's holding a sheet of paper in her hand, which has a list of names on it, and I will read the list to you now. Dottie Woolfolk, Charlotte Moulton, Harriet Peter, Michelle Sikowski, Diana Prince, Jackie Miller, Roberta Caniger, Denise O'Neill, Kathy, I'm guessing that's Workman, Mary Foster, Sandy something. That's interesting, isn't it, listeners?
We'll come back to that, I think.
Yes. And looking at all of this, the cheetah is saying,
"It's finished. A comprehensive list of all the whacks and waves working in the War Department who match Wonder Woman's height and build. To learn her secret identity, I need only keep them under surveillance, aided by these special contact lenses."
And we see Cheetah, with how she's putting contact lenses in with those nails, I've no idea. But she's putting contact lenses into position, and her monologue continues.
"And to think the silly goose thought I was only trying to kill her with my claws. No, my plan is more complex. Every major case of espionage in and around Washington in the past few months has been solved by Wonder Woman, and she's often seen in the company of that Army Major Trevor. It's only logical to conclude that the Amazon is closely affiliated with the War Department."
So then the cheetah has put back on her big hat and big coat disguise, and there's a very interesting montage panel, which will hopefully, there might be room for on the socials. There's a giant image of the cheetah in the middle, but around there are some shots of her spying through binoculars and peeking in windows and looking at some of these ladies on the list, obviously, including one lady with swept back dark hair and another with immaculately set curled blonde hair. They're being seen through the binoculars. The captioning returns.
For days she stalks the streets of Washington in disguise, spying on her list of suspects, until...
And then we see the cheetah, as I said there, in the middle of this whole image, triumphantly saying,
"I've done it! For only Wonder Woman's forehead would show the scratch where my claw etched the indelible ink into her skin. The mark, which only my infrared lenses reveals, has betrayed Diana Prince."
Yes, and running out this page is a shot of Diana in her human uniform, hard at work, and we can see the glow of the scratch on her forehead. OMG. Over the page.
War Department Headquarters, the following Monday.
Diana and Steve. Steve says,
"What's that, Prince?"
Diana, holding up a piece of paper, says, "A letter from Priscilla Rich of the Junior League Committee for War Work."
"I see it's for Wonder Woman, sent in care of this office."
"That's right. They want her to appear in a public service film they're making, a war bonds appeal."
Elsewhere at that moment...
Yes, it's the cheetah looking very shifty and saying,
"It was a simple thing to sign Priscilla's name to my letter on the Junior League letterhead. Diana Prince will be sure to read it, and therefore so will Wonder Woman."
And the next couple of panels have a rippled sort of effect, I suppose, to suggest that we're being let into the cheetah's imaginings. So over a shot of her working in a film studio and doing something naughty with cables, she is saying,
"This film is an innocent, perfectly legitimate venture, but I will turn it into a trap to kill Wonder Woman. I'll plant an explosive in the camera, and the sign which warns that the camera is rolling will be the detonator. When the Amazon muffs her lines, or the director calls cut, the camera will stop. The sign will blink out, and then..."
With a wonderfully rendered kaboom, we see an image of Wonder Woman and some cinema film and camera equipment blowing up. Gosh. We cut back to the cheetah in the real world, and she's scribbling away in a book with a pen, and she is thinking,
"I'll have to carefully record the plans for the trap in my diary, just as I've done with every step of my scheme so far. I can allow nothing to go wrong."
I hope no one finds the diary before you put your plan into action, cheetah. That would be stinking, wouldn't it? Anyway, yes, there's a caption after that. It reads,
"Yet something will go wrong, for even the cheetah must sleep. But what she cannot realize that there is no guarantee it will be the cheetah who awakens the next morning."
And who awakens the next morning? Yes, it's Priscilla. Sitting up in her bed, she can see the cheetah uniform lying on the floor. Priscilla exclaims,
"What? Where am I? The last thing I remember is being at the White House.
And then she notices the cheetah outfit on the floor and exclaims,
That costume! Not again!
and then we see that she's picked up the diary that the cheetah was just writing in, and poor Priscilla, flicking through it, thinks,
No, it's true. I've been the cheetah again. For days, it's all here in her diary. How she's discovered Wonder Woman's identity and how she's going to kill her.
Gosh. We're continued in the 5th page following, and I'll mention that one of the adverts is for a hungry plant that eats meat and even catches flies, only $1 each, Venus flytrap, etc. And there's a full-page advert for some dollar comics, including World's Finest 244, featuring, amongst others, Superman, Batman, Black Canary, Green Arrow, The Vigilante, and Wonder Woman, so you bet we'll be reading from that before too long. Over the page, we pass a subscription advert and an advert for issue 14 of The Amazing World of DC Comics, before we turn to Priscilla, who is looking very dark and intense as she thinks.
Oh, how much simpler life would be if Wonder Woman didn't exist. I wouldn't be responsible for her death, and my double identity problem would be solved.
Where's this going, listeners? That's what I want to know. There's a slow dissolve.
Thus, next day,
We see Priscilla Rich welcoming Yeoman Diana Prince, presumably to her big house, as Priscilla says.
Thank you for coming in such short notice, Human Prince.
It was my pleasure, Miss Rich, but since your committee wants Wonder Woman for its film, I don't understand how I can help you.
Oh, but you will, Diana. I'll show you how. Look.
And she holds up, looks like a little watch on a chain or something, starts waving it back and forth in front of Diana, who says, But I don't see,
Just keep your eyes on this pocket watch.
And we see that the ladies are now standing in front of a couple of adjoining full-length mirrors. Diana very still, as Priscilla thinks,
Just as I suspected. She's new to the Western world, and so very naive. She's probably never even heard of hypnotism.
and then she says out loud,
Listen carefully, Diana. Look behind you, in the mirrors. What do you see?
2 reflections. Yes, but one of them is me, is Wonder Woman. And then Priscilla, who's now holding a hammer, says,
But that's only an hallucination. You aren't Wonder Woman. Watch. I'll destroy the Wonder Woman image, and after I do, you'll never think you're her again.
Yes, delusion. Never again. And with the hammer and an amazing
Smash!
she shatters the glass.
and as the sound of the shattering mirror rouses Diana from her hypnotic slumber,
And Diana, seemingly pulling herself into focus, speaks. What was I saying?
Nothing much, just goodbye.
Says Priscilla, looking very arch, who then goes on to think,
Yes, goodbye to Wonder Woman, forever.
forever? Perhaps, but certainly at least a week.
We're back in the office of war hero Steve Trevor with Yeoman Diana Prince. He's looking at a copy of the Washington Sentinel, which bears the headline, Where is Wonder Woman? Steve is saying,
I can't understand it, Prince. Wonder Woman has vanished. It's as if she's dropped off the face of the earth.
It's probably nothing to worry about, Steve.
Maybe, but it isn't like her to shirk responsibilities. She promised to make that war bond movie today, after all.
Steve puts on his cap and opens the door to leave, saying,
I'm going over to the studio.
Wait, Steve, I'll go with you.
Presently, Steve and Diana arrive at a long-disused movie studio in downtown Washington.
Yes, there's a lot going on. We can see crewmen moving ladders and stuff in the background. There's a chap in a black sleeveless pullover, looks a bit like Bruce Wayne to me, and in front of him is obviously the director of the whole shebang, smart-looking gentleman in a pink jacket with a red cap and a very neat moustache. And the man in the black V-neck is looking at his watch and saying, She's an hour late, Miss Rich. And we see Priscilla is standing nearby. Priscilla replies,
I don't think she'll show, Ralph.
and the man in the red hat chips in with, Maybe we should forget the whole thing. But Steve announces himself at this point, saying,
No need to do that. Maybe I can help you instead.
And a chap in the red cap stands up and says, Steve Trevor, terrific! I'd rather shoot a war hero than some broad in a silly get-up anyway. And then Priscilla gets a close-up. She looks a bit dizzy and thinks,
Oh no! If Trevor stands in for Wonder Woman, he'll be killed. But I don't want to be responsible for anyone's death.
Soon?
And we see Steve talking to Herb, for that's the name of the chap in the red hat. That'll come along soon, believe me, listeners. They're discussing what they're going to be filming. Steve is saying,
This is the script.
Yes, we've revised it for you. Just read it through once. There'll be cue cards. And we see Priscilla leading Diana away, Priscilla's saying,
Diana, I must speak to you. It's urgent.
She grabs Diana by the shoulders in the next panel, saying,
Steve's in terrible danger, and only Wonder Woman can save him.
But why are you telling me this?
Why? Because you're Wonder Woman.
Me? Wonder Woman? Ridiculous!
I was afraid you'd say that. I hate to do this, Diana, because of what happens to me when you become Wonder Woman, but I see you need a convincer.
Swiftly, Priscilla extracts from her handbag the Cheetah's weapon bracelet, and...
She slips it onto her wrist and points it at Diana, who seems to, out of reflex, raise both her wrists and cross them to protect her face as she cries, Great Hera!
See? You've instinctively struck the bullets and bracelets pose to defend yourself. Why would you do that, unless you knew that my weapon fired darts because you'd faced them before?
As Wonder Woman! By Neptune's trident! You're right! I am she! I must be!
Within seconds, there has been a blinding flash, and then...
Yes, we see Diana pirouetting, spinning on a spot, and changing into Wonder Woman, just like on the TV show, I suppose, if they're mentioning the blinding flash.
Mm-hmm.
And as our heroine is revealed, she says, All right, I'm Wonder Woman. Now what?
Don't look at me. The cheetah set the trap. There's a bomb in the camera that'll explode when they stop filming. I don't know how to defuse it.
And as she runs off, Wonder Woman says, But you're the cheetah. That much I've figured out.
Yes, but I have no memory of anything I do as my other self.
Without a moment wasted, the Amazon sprints down the hall, failing to notice the change Priscilla undergoes.
Yes, all we really see is Priscilla burying her face in her hands as Wonder Woman runs off.
The change caused by the reappearance of Wonder Woman that sends the cheetah leaping into pursuit of the Amazon, firing her claws.
Yes, gosh, quite a lot's happened as we turn the page. There's a fantastic ka-chuck sound effect as the cheetah fires her darts at Wonder Woman, and she's managed to, well, helpfully, Wonder Woman says, My lasso! You've snagged it! Yes, she's been pinned to the wall. Cheetah leaps forward, grabbing at Wonder Woman's leg. She says,
Certainly, love, for without it you're hardly a match for me. Since my hateful alter ego Priscilla enabled you to evade the death trap I set for you, I'll have to do the job on you with my bare claws.
And we see that Wonder Woman's lasso has actually been pinned to a doorway, and as the cheetah grabs her, they pitch forward and bounce down a flight of stairs with a succession of...
Wow, wow, wow.
Yes, heavy royalties for George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley this week. And as Wonder Woman and the cheetah right themselves, the cheetah continues.
And while I'm doing it, your beloved Steve Trevor will die, and you can't lift a finger to prevent it.
You'll pardon me if I don't take your word for that. And Wonder Woman, though, has lifted a finger. She has grabbed a scenery flat and brings it down on the cheetah's head with a... Shrap! Cheetah can only exclaim. And there's a quick dissolve.
At that moment upstairs, the camera is rolling.
Yes, we see Steve on his mark, reading from an idiot board, being held up by a member of the crew, as Steve is saying.
And I urge all of you, in the days...
And we cut over to the director and his assistant, Herb in his red cap, who's saying, I hate that uniform of his. I'm going to call cut. And the other chap, the man in the black V-neck, puts a hand on his shoulder to stop him and says, Relax, Herb, it looks swell, and Trevor's doing great. Let him finish the take. We then cut to Wonder Woman rushing back up the flight of stairs that her and the cheetah fell down. Wonder Woman thinking, I pray to Hera I'm not too late. We cut back to Steve, who's saying another line of dialogue.
Ahead, to do as my Amazon sisters would...
We get a close-up of Herb looking very annoyed as he says, Oh, blast! They forgot to change the cue cards! Cut! Cut!
The camera stops. The warning light winks out. But suddenly...
With a huge...
Brackash!
Wonder Woman bursts into the room, setting the door off its hinges and screws and bolts and everything flying. She yells to the crew, Out of the way, everybody! That camera is about to explode! But obviously not, because she has time to run over and grab the camera. Lifting it up, she says, But don't worry, no one will be hurt if I can get it out of here in time! And we see her lifting the camera and hurling it towards an open exit door. As it flies through, there is a colossal... As it does indeed explode. Badoom. It's a shame that wasn't Badoon. Then I could make a Marvel Comics reference. A caption kicks in.
The smoke of the explosion is not yet cleared as Wonder Woman takes off once more. This time to settle matters with our newly awakened antagonist, once and for all.
Yes, we see the film and the camera burning as Wonder Woman runs away back down towards the stairs as Cheetah is taking them two at a time, running up towards her. Cheetah says,
And now, dearie, you die.
Not very likely, Tabby. This time I have my lasso, and I intend to use it as soon as I make sure you're housebroken. And Wonder Woman swinging on the door frame sends Cheetah flying backwards with a kick.
Kapow!
And poor Cheetah yells as she falls down the stairs. Wonder Woman, twirling her lasso in the air, says, "Relax, Priscilla. I won't let anything terrible happen to you." And she lassos the cheetah around her waist. Arresting her fall, she says, "That wouldn't be quite fair after all. You're not responsible for your actions. You're sick, but you'll get help on Transformation Island, a rehabilitation centre run by my sister Amazons." See Wonder Woman standing in front of the cheetah now, and Wonder Woman saying very calmly, "Now, hear and obey. You will come quietly to Transformation Island." And Cheetah replies,
Yes, quietly to Island. I am compelled.
The persuasive influence of Wonder Woman's magic lasso forces Priscilla Rich to obey, and the menace of the cheetah is ended. Thus, sometime later...
Yes, we're back in boring old Steve Trevor's office. He's standing looking out a window as Diana does some filing, and Steve says,
Well, Prince, I guess we'll never know where Wonder Woman disappeared to last week. I'll just have to be content to have her back, and hope it never happens again.
"Maybe, Steve, but if it does, you might try spending more time looking for her. Who knows? Maybe you could have found her." And Diana gets a very significant looking at the camera close-up as she concludes, "In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she'd been nearby all the time." And a small caption reads, "End." And then another caption reads,
Next, the terrifying coming of Asira, the peacemaker from the pyramid, in Wonder Woman issue 231, on sale the third week of February.
Yes, and we'll be getting to that one before too long, listeners. You mark my words. Gav's already prepared. He's ready to do his lines. We have to tell Steve and Ross what's expected of him. And I suppose we should say to Rich as well, and we need to find someone to voice Mr. Terrific. Spoilers.
There we are.
Well, that's a bit of a Defenders 39 cover, isn't it?
Slightly, yes. It's close. There was a scene, several times where they fought.
Yeah, but there wasn't a scene when they fought in front of a poster in an alleyway.
There were no full moons.
I'm going to be honest, out of the three we've just done here in rapid succession, this is the one I've enjoyed the least.
Uh-huh.
It was a bit of a chore to read and perform. I think if I was just reading it for pleasure, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more, but it just felt, compared to the other ones we've done so far, it felt very, very stodgy and wordy to me.
Well, I am 100% the opposite, sir.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
I hugely enjoyed this story. It was ridiculous.
Good.
And so much fun. I do like the cheetah as like the main enemy, opponent of Wonder Woman. I think it's a really good balance. It's almost like Batman, Catwoman sort of thing.
Okay, sure.
There's a dynamic there. I mean, there's so many good things in this. The usage of hypnotism is just ridiculous and fun and very evocative of the TV series. It's the sort of thing you would definitely see there.
It really does feel like we're reading a comic that's sort of really taking the lead from the TV show, rather than attempting to be the adventures of the Wonder Woman of Earth 2.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Things will change, obviously, when we get some guest stars.
I don't have a problem with that. I think it's great fun.
No, it's fascinating. Mm-hmm. I'm really surprised. I think one of the letters said this already. Like, I'm surprised they didn't give us a DC TV comic logo.
Yeah, I think we commented on that before, yeah.
We probably did. It is not a stretch to imagine Lyle Wagner and Linda Carter performing all these scenes.
Not at all.
Steve's a big, boring old stiffy who's not really listening to what Diana has to say and all this sort of stuff.
Exactly.
That softens when they get into the 70s episodes, I should say, in the TV show. But anyway, yes, it was good, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I would not dispute that it's an enjoyable, fun story. I think, as I say, if I was reading it for pleasure rather than just reading it as the narrator for a podcast, I'd probably get a lot more out of it. But shall we jump through the highlights then?
Yes. One of the things I loved was the Cheetah's contact lenses, because they look absolutely massive. They look as if they're about 1.5 inches in diameter.
Yes.
How do you fit them in? Did you even have contact lenses back in 1943?
Well, I'm not sure, but the thing is, she's talking about contact lenses and how they'll help her find Wonder Woman. But then we see her using binoculars.
Oh, I suppose she could have put them on the binoculars as opposed to put them in her eyes.
Maybe the binoculars fasten onto the contact lenses in her eyes. Ugh.
Maybe.
That'd be painful, wouldn't it?
That's cool. And then, of course, the panel just before that is the panel with the list of all the suspects. Now, let's go through these.
Yes.
Dottie Woolfolk. Now, I think that's a reference maybe to William Woolfolk, who was a writer.
I think you're right, yes, that works. Charlotte Moulton, obviously.
Charles Moulton, yep, Wonder Woman creator. Harriet Peter is obviously Harry G. Peter, the artist of the Golden Age Wonder Woman. Michelle Sikowski is obviously Mike Sikowski, who was a long-time penciler of Wonder Woman.
Absolutely. Yep.
Diana Prince, I've never heard of her. Have you heard of her?
Rings a bell. I've heard of a Princess Diana, but anyway.
Jackie Miller is obviously Jack Miller, who's a DC writer and editor. Roberta Kaniger, again, hilarious. One extra letter added in.
That's probably the weakest. Michelle Sikowski is hilarious, but Roberta,
People forget that Robert Kaniger, everyone thinks he's like the war guy who wrote that, but he wrote Wonder Woman for about 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
So I know it's crazy.
Kenny and I were talking about this today. Kenny, listeners, our friend Kenny Smith of the Power of Three and the Piece of Eight Doctor Who podcast and our occasional guest contributor. Kenny is, by his own admission, has dipped in and out while we've been doing the show, but is now doing a concerted all the way through listen to, and he just done a Wonder Woman story quite recently, and we were talking about, he said, it really impressed me actually, conversationally the other day when he talked about Robert Kaniger being long gone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was like, check you out, Joe Comics. Kenny, I apologise for all that we're doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the range of Kaniger's career is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think people kind of write him off a little bit nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and read some of the stuff he actually did. It was great.
Yeah. And he wrote the first Barry Allen story and all sorts of things, you know. He's like, you know.
Say no more.
He famously created the Metal Men in a weekend from scratch. It's like, we need a story, right? Okay. And created this amazing team that are just so long-living and endearing and, great. Next on the list, we've got Denise O'Neill, who obviously is a reference to Denny O'Neill, the editor.
Amazing.
And then we're kind of like, we can't quite see the full names of the other ones. But
I guess Kathy Workman, Mary Foster.
And Sandy something. Not 100% sure about those. Listeners, if you've any ideas, please get in touch. But yeah, that's a glorious little Easter egg for long-time fans. So yeah, I loved that.
But yes, but the list is very amusing. There is a slight element of camp to this, isn't there?
Oh, indubitably, sir. Indubitably.
You know, Cheetah proclaiming through the loudhailer and then an outrageous film director and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I hope we've done it justice this week, listeners. There's quite a lot to get through, quite a lot of dialogue, quite a lot of captioning, so we maybe not as pacey. Well, I'm sure Peter will fix that in the edit. Maybe not as pacey as some of the other ones, I suppose. I haven't read many Cheetah stories, I have to be honest, but I was reminded of Wonder Woman 1984, where the antagonist was the Cheetah, and I think, to be honest, that might be the only other Cheetah story I've ever actually experienced.
Oh, really? Okay.
It might be. I don't know.
Okay.
I have not. I'm sitting here going, I don't think I've read anything else with a Cheetah at all.
I've read a few.
Which obviously will change because, you know, she's going to be in a couple of other stories that we're going to do, but maybe apart from skimming through the new Golden Age one when we did that aspect of Wonder Woman a few years ago, it's probably really bad on my part that I'm thinking of Kirsten Wig rather than any other story that I've read her in. Apologies, Wonder Woman fans, if you're listening.
The weird thing is, I think actually reading this story, apart from the scene in the invisible plane when she like stops it midair and then jumps down to the boat, I don't think there's any scene in this that you couldn't imagine on the TV screen.
Sure.
Because there's not a huge amount of superheroics.
Yeah,
It's quite low-key sort of fighting and stuff. It's quite cool.
I can imagine them doing the invisible jet thing, you know, obviously, and have her, you know, jumping down with that woo sound effect and all this kind of stuff, and maybe they wouldn't be able to do it in the water. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's interesting. I'm going to be very interested in what the contemporary correspondence has to say on this when we get to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For the first time in a very long time, out of any of the stories we've done, I wasn't really feeling this one. I mean, there's obviously a lot of good stuff. The artwork's brilliant. There's a few points here and there where the captions I feel were maybe a little bit unnecessary, and it is very dialogue heavy. But
well, again, the captions kind of like reflected the captions appearing on the TV show. They maybe overdid the captions because people were used to seeing them in the TV show, so maybe they overemphasized them. That's possible.
It's possible. Maybe it was a deliberate attempt for a retro sort of spin. I don't know. know.
As I said, I really enjoyed it, probably because of the camp aspects and the fact that I was really, really overdoing it as the Cheetah. And also in the captions, because the captions are quite ridiculous as well. So it's probably more fun for me in the performance than it was for you, sir.
Possibly. Yeah, I didn't get an awful lot to do, which is fine. It gives my voice a rest, I suppose.
Yeah.
In some ways, it's Wonder Woman appearing in a Cheetah story rather than vice versa, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see that.
The balance of it is interesting.
I did a little dive on the Cheetah, and she's got an interesting origin.
Ah, yes, because we talked about this earlier today, didn't we? Yes.
Because her first technical published appearance was in Sensation Comics issue 22, which came out on the 6th of August 1943. But chronologically, that's actually her second appearance, because on the 18th of August 1943 she appeared in Wonder Woman 6, and that was definitely her debut story. So it's weird that her second story was published first.
It's like Gambit decades later.
Oh yes, of course. She had a couple of other Golden Age appearances, and one in Comic Cavalcade number 11, a story called, funnily enough, The Cheetah Returns.
Ah, is there another story soon after that called Return of the Cheetah?
And then she came back for her final Golden Age appearance in Wonder Woman 28, teaming up with a lot of other Wonder Woman villains to form the group Villainy Incorporated.
Oh, that rings a bell vaguely. Okay.
Yeah.
But you said there's another cheetah with a different secret identity that's going to pop up in one of the JLA JSA stories.
Yes, that's right. Debbie Domain, I think her name is.
Okay.
She appears in Justice League issues 195 to 197. We'll definitely be doing those. I'm not sure if we're doing any other ones. So yes, we will return to the cheetah at some point.
Yes, and because this is quite, she's quite a significant, quite a major villain, I have managed to scrape together 10 cheetah covers celebrating the lengthy comics career of the character, so watch out for them on the socials this week. Probably on Sunday or Monday, I think.
Good stuff.
Excellent.
Shall we jump ahead to the contemporary correspondence and see what the readers thought at the time?
That's an excellent idea.
Okay, let's spin ahead to Wonder Woman issue 234 and Wonder Words. And the first letter says, Dear friends, Wonder Woman issue 230, Claws of the Cheetah, was a truly ultra-fantabulous comic.
Ultra-fantabulous boy of the Legion of Superheroes.
Should I say that in my funky Flashman voice?
Yes.
Wonder Woman 230, Claws of the Cheetah, was a truly ultra-fantabulous comic. As a fanatic Cheetah fan, I especially enjoyed the story, although it conflicted with the original tale of Cheetah's capture and her unmasking as Priscilla Rich, Wonder Woman issue 6, fall 1943. And it was a tale needed for a number of reasons. It was a better look into the Cheetah than has been given since the 1943 publication of Moulton's then unpublished story, Cheetah's Thought Prisoners. While Cheetah is a villainess, we don't hiss and boo her, as one does Red Panzer. She is a pitiful soul, and the handling of her personality against the backdrop of the TV Wonder Woman format was masterful. The mentioning of Transformation Island 2 was a good return to the days of 1943. A wonderful job worthy of Charles Moulton himself. Keep up the fabulous work in Wonder Woman and have the Cheetah back soon, says Carl Nicastro from Pottsville, PA.
Editorial response reads, The future of the Cheetah is, for now, known only to story editor Denny O'Neil and writer Jerry Conway. For now, we'll leave the question of the continuity conflict you mentioned to be argued among your fellow readers who are as well versed in Wonder Woman lore as you, Carl. Hey, is it possible you got that way thanks to Volume 2 of the Encyclopedia of Comic Book Heroes, which is entirely devoted to a detailed chronicling of Wonder Woman's life, loves, and crime-busting adventures? It's now available in paperback at your booksellers, and while you're there, check out Volume 1 devoted to The Batman. Both books and the volumes to come were lovingly researched and written by Jonah Hex scripter Michael L. Fleischer, and we think they're great, so okay, that's a plug.
I think they're great as well. I've got them both. They're fantastic.
All right, cool. Oh, yeah, I think I remember you mentioning the Wonder Woman one a long, long time ago. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Next letter, then. Dear editor, number 230, square brackets, represents, close square brackets, everything that is wrong with chronicling of the traditional Wonder Woman.
Gasp.
You have the cheetah hypnotizing Diana Prince into believing she's not Wonder Woman. It's supposedly easy to cast a spell because Wonder Woman is not familiar with hypnotism. Come on now. Amazon science makes our Western science look like the Stone Age, what with purple healing rays and a plane in the 1940s was flying over 300 miles per hour. The Amazons had investigated mental phenomena and the mind in general to such a degree that they had developed telepathy to a fine art via the mental radio. Also, several chronicles assert that the secret of Wonder Woman's strength is her ability to focus all of her mental brainwave energy into her muscles. Like I'm doing now, listeners. Ugh! So if the Amazons have that much control over the mind, hypnotism is probably well known to them. In fact, it's almost certain that no Amazon could be hypnotized against her will. And that is from Marion Davis, Sherwood Place, Sherman Oaks, California.
Editorial response, not necessarily. While Amazon science is advanced, you must remember that theirs is a loving and peaceful culture, whose members have the highest regard for the human rights of others. So, if hypnotism is well known to them, it is only known as a psychoanalytic technique, but certainly not as a manipulative tool used to coerce others into actions against their will.
Gosh.
My goodness. Final letter says, Dear Editor, the April Wonder Woman is your very finest issue since the very early Schwartz-edited numbers about 3 years ago. Never has Diana's old foe, the Cheetah, been better utilised. This feline felon has always had the potential to become one of Wonder Woman's, no, one of DC's finest villains, but until the claws of the Cheetah, that potential had never been explored. Thanks to author Marty Pascoe, we now see Priscilla Rich for the tormented creature she is. A woman with two personalities, each fighting for control of her body. Those scenes of the unfortunate Priscilla arguing with her evil alter ego in the mirror were classic, finely wrought character studies, which sent chills down my spine. Naturally, the Cheetah had to win out, or we wouldn't have had much of a story. Her schemes were dynamite. Giving her such daring do as claw darts and claw pellets was a clever way of tying the villainess in with her feline namesake. Pascoe outdid himself in this story, as did Jose Delbo and Vince Coletta. It was extremely difficult to read in the letters page that Jose will be leaving this book when I had just finished reading one of the most beautifully illustrated stories I'd ever seen. Was it Mr. Delbo's idea to make all of the Cheetah's word balloons look like cheetah spots? It is a fascinating idea, a stroke of genius. It enables readers to know that when Priscilla Rich is talking and when it is the Cheetah speaking. Whoever thought of that, step forward and take a bow. In fact, everyone connected with Wonder Woman issue 230, take a bow. And that's from regular letter hack Scott Gibson from Evergreen, Colorado.
Editor response, you may be interested to know that issue 230 was done pencils first, drawn from Marty's breakdowns. Marty dialogued the story after it was drawn. The speech effect was designed by Marty and masterfully executed by crack letterer and cartoonist John Workman. So that obviously means it was John Workman that's being referenced on the list.
There we are, mystery solved.
One thing I didn't really say in our conversation, which I don't think I did, was the artwork at points, especially with all the scenes with Priscilla, it felt very early 1970s romance comic.
Yes. Yes,
it didn't feel like I was reading a superhero story at all a lot of the time. I mean, all those, the shots of her with her immaculate hair in her big house and all that in her diary. Yeah. I sort of thought, has this been photocopied in from an issue of Young Love or something and redrawn?
Yeah, the romance comic vibe does pop up in superhero comics from time to time. I've got fond memories of reading early Iron Man stories done by Don Heck, and basically Tony Stark looked like Clark Gable, and Pepper Potts. It was literally as an angsty romance comic with occasional daring do in a suit of armor. It was brilliant.
Yes, when he remembers to put it on.
Yeah, and remembers to charge up his chest, going, oh, I must plug in to the wall and recharge or I will die.
Yes.
Oh, they were glorious. But yes, I know exactly what you mean. It is quite nice when these things kind of dovetail and we do get a combination of styles. So yeah.
Yeah. It is really interesting comparing the artwork we've had over all three issues, because if you were to look at issue 228 in comparison to this one, it's night and day.
Yeah.
Jose Delbo is obviously very, very skilled because, 228 looks like just a regular adventure for the Earth 1 Wonder Woman. A traditional superhero comic. This 230 looks a lot more carefully and consideredly sort of rendered. It looks a lot more atmospheric, a lot more stylized. You'd think they were actually drawn by two different people. And the fact that Vinnie Coletta inked both of these, it just shows that, there's obviously a bit of thought going into it. They really are trying to make the World War II stories look a little different.
Yeah.
To what they've been getting in traditional modern day Earth 1 Wonder Woman stories, I think.
Yeah, maybe a slight throwback to, make it feel more golden agey.
Yeah, to make it look a little more retro or old fashioned or whatever.
Interesting.
Very, very interesting. So yes, we will be returning to Wonder Woman before too long, folks. Go and get copies of 231 and 232 for the epic two-parter set in Egypt. I was flicking through them today and I'd forgotten this, that the cover of issue 231 basically spoils the last page of the story. So I think when we get to that one, we might have Peter not describe the cover till we get to the end of the story.
Yes, that's fine. We can do that.
What should the listeners do, Peter, if they think that that's a good idea?
Well, you could write to us at theearth2podcast@gmail.com and tell us your thoughts. Make sure you follow us on social media because we're putting up lots of lovely bonus material for this and, of course, every single episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Blue Sky. We're at the Earth 2 Podcast, and Twitter, we're at podcast_Earth2. And it is, of course, the number 2 for all of our socials.
It certainly is. Listeners, if you're enjoying what we're doing, please consider spreading the word, sharing any of our posts on the socials. Some friends of ours often do, and we appreciate it. Or you could go to wherever it is you receive your podcast and give us a positive review, or find your way to our link tree and our coffee/comic page and buy Peter the price of a beverage as he tries to make sense of my tired ramblings as we cover issue 230 for your pleasure. Right, I have to go now and get on with my homework because we're going to tackle a couple of epics in one go next week. Very, very, very interesting. Steve Englehart doing a massive big continuity patch. Just you wait, it's amazing.
On that bombshell. I've been Peter.
And I've been David. Take care. See you soon on
The Earth 2 podcast.
Transmatter cube activated. Return coordinates set for Earth Prime.
Relax, Prince. You're my date.
I know. F***ing hell. That's interrupted the flow of that
You
conversation.
should try and cut down on the fags, Diane.
Stop drinking the whiskey straight from the bottle, Diana.
40 a day is too much for a lady.
Oh, God. All right. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, man. Right. Okay. Do you mind doing Relax, Prince, You're My Date again for me? Sorry.